that's a Citroen Ami. And it's not really a car, it's actually classed as a quadricycle. The whole idea behind it is urban mobility. And do we actually need big, heavy cars to go around city centre streets when all we're doing is the odd mile of commuting or nip into the shops or something? It's a really interesting concept. It's not available in the UK at the moment, although Citroen UK do desperately want to bring it there. And there is a website, which we'll put a link in the description below, where you can show your interest in the car. Currently, it's only available in Paris, and it costs around €6,000 to buy outright. Although you can also do a finance deal where you pay something ridiculous like €20 a month after you've paid, well, quite a hefty deposit in fairness, about €3,000. Or, crucially, you can rent them by the minute. So it's a bit like a Boris bike, except you don't get wet and you don't have to pedal it. It's weird. Now, in order to keep the costs down on the Ami, it basically is, well, it uses all the same sort of panels, just on opposite sides. So on the driver's side, the left side, it's the rear hinge door. On the other side, it's front hinge, because it's the same door. And obviously the body panel is the same, so the hinge is going the same place, but on the other side, the thing's there for it. And then obviously you can personalise it. I mean, these things are all about personalisation. There's, you know, different sort of like wheel covers. There's a more basic version that doesn't have any wheel covers. They've got little orange bits on the inside. You know, the rear's the same as the front, just with different lights on it, so it can be interchanged, so it's cheap, especially around Paris. If you think about, if you've ever driven in Paris, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It takes all the knocks and bumps and bangs it's going to get. No roll down windows, it's just a flip up. You've got these little bolt-on mirrors that you'd probably put on a bicycle. It's just, yeah. Wait till you see the inside. See what I mean? Oh, look. It's got a pull strap like a Porsche GT3 RS. Wonderful. Now look at this as basic form. Moulded seats, basic cushioning. This seat doesn't move, the driver's seat moves a little bit, thankfully. It's great, look, you've got this big bit you can put your rucksack or a suitcase or a briefcase in there. There's a little bit of storage behind the seat as well, for your bits and pieces. You know, things you can hang your bag off there. There's a basic heater in the car. Obviously you've got hazard warnings. There's a USB, so you can charge in a little smartphone holder here. Little plastic steering wheel, little LCD display, and these kind of storage things in the front here for, I don't really know what. Oh, cups and things. I mean, look, we're not talking about, you know, Rolls-Royce levels of comfort. We're only talking about Citroen C4 levels of comfort in here. But for going 2 or 3 miles to the railway station in the morning, I get it. It kind of works. You know, why would you not? Now, you can charge the Ami from a standard domestic 3-pin socket. There's a cable tethered to the car itself, and you plug it in. At the moment, obviously, these are French cars, so they have the French connection, if you'll pardon the pun. But obviously there's an adapter can be bought where you can put it into a domestic 3-pin socket. That's how you charge it up. It only has a range of 43 miles, you know, which is, I don't know, it's a week's worth of nipping in down to the railway station and back, or as I say, to the shops and back, or dropping one child at school. Makes a lot of sense, especially if you can just rent it. Now, Citroen are really pushing the whole e-mobility side of things at the moment. So they're doing everything from this to obviously the family cars like the EC4. You know, they've got the e-Space Tourer, which is the 9-seat kind of people car, which we're going to be reviewing on the channel very soon, and a lot of their commercial vehicles. The PSA group as a whole are really embracing the whole EV movement, and obviously in 10 years time, or 9 years time in the UK, we're going to have a situation where you know, internal combustion engine cars are completely banned in terms of new sales of internal combustion engine cars. So does something like this make sense, rather than running, I don't know, a big SUV and then a second car as a, you know, like a Golf, or, you know, or a Citroen as a, you know, just to get you to and from the shops? Is the next stage a family EV and then one of these? I think so. Now, I've driven some odd things in my time, and this has got to be one of the oddest. If you think that a smart car feels small and interesting to drive, then this is completely different to that. A smart car feels like a Volkswagen Golf in comparison with this. It is essentially a box on wheels. It's not actually a car. It's classed as a quadricycle. And you can drive these when you're much younger. In France, I think you can drive it when you're, I think, 14 or something, or 15, which frightens the bejesus out of me, quite frankly, that you'd have kids bombing around in these things. But you know, there you go. It's I suppose it's safer than walking, perhaps. But it's not about being a car. It's a completely different concept. It's all about urban mobility. And that's why you've got just these two basic seats. I mean, they really are basic. There's a cushion on them, but that's about it. The moulded plastic with cushions on them as the seats. There's a very small LCD display here that tells me my speed and the state of my battery. There's a holder for my smartphone here. I've got a basic fan speed. I've got a USB port. And you can't see it, but down here on the side of the sill, or the side of the seat, is the transmission. Drive, neutral and reverse. It's got this massive big glass roof in front of me, which is above me but in front, and it feels really odd. And then right behind me there's a window. And then I've got these kind of letterbox style openings. And they're open, the door opens via this speed bump, opens via this pull toggle here. So I've got an element of a Porsche GT3 RS there, and an element of a Lamborghini Countach there. And it's not like any of those either. It's really odd to drive. You know, from a company that gave us cars like the 2CV and the Diane 6, you've got to applaud Citroen for this. I mean, it is just, yeah, it's fun, it's different, it's quirky, it's Citroen. You've watched our video. It's now my job to tell you to like and subscribe, and press the little bell button to receive notification of when our next video is uploaded.